All right, guys, thanks for coming. Obviously, recap from Sunday's game, or Saturday's game. Don't feel too much different than I felt after the game. Obviously, don't want to ever lose that football game. You do everything in your power to prepare really well and put a plan together that would allow you to win the game. Your team does a really good job of understanding what it takes to have really good intentional practice to go play well in the football game. And, we didn't make enough plays or make enough right calls to get it done. So that's where we're at. You now, the beauty of late October football, early November football is there's another big game waiting for you again on this Saturday. So, turn the page. We got to move on. Got to go to Eastern and handle this trip and do a great job this week of playing what I think is a very disciplined football team, a very well coached football team, and put our best foot forward in all three phases if we're going to have a chance to win. Because I think if you look back in January and February and what your team talks about or where you want to be at, you want to be playing meaningful games in November, and that's what's staring us in the face right now. So I got to have a great week and do a good job this week of crossing T's, dotting I's on a plan, and like I said, go put our best foot forward.
Jason, common denominator in these losses has been turnovers. How disruptive is a turnover? I mean, all turnovers aren't necessarily created equally, but how disruptive is that to when you?
Yeah, I mean, I think that any game that you watch in any level of football, that's going to have a major impact. I mean, there's a Monday night game tonight. The momentum will change and swing drastically based off of that. Whether it's a fumble, whether it's an interception, something happens in the kicking game. And I think what we view turnovers as, too. Like if you look back at Northern Illinois' game, we had an unusually large amount of fourth down stops. Those are like turnovers too. So, we aided momentum swings in that football game from those, getting those on defense. In the turnover margin, Eastern's done a really good job, and it's kept them in every game. And that's probably Chris has done a good job with his program of really having a high emphasis of that over, his time as a head coach. And that's usually they're the top to middle in that statistic every year. So, they're valuable. You got to take care of the ball. The ball is the program, and you got to value that, and you got to do a good job of possessing it. And sometimes you end up possession with a punt or a field goal, and that's not a bad thing, always. So, got to do a good job taking care of it, and we got to try to find a way to create some of them too.
That's what I want to ask next. Go to the defensive side. I mean, is creating turnovers for the defense, is that just as important as preventing points and preventing them from moving the ball?
It is, but I don't think, you can practice all the drills that you want to practice. I mean, I've had years where, we've practiced turnover circuits every day until we're blue in the face, and we don't get any. And there's other years where we've kind of we've dialed back on that, and we have, 3 interceptions in a game or 2 forced fumbles in a game. I watched a ball get intercepted yesterday in an NFL game that went off the helmet of a D lineman. We're drilling that in practice. These are situations that come out through the course of the game that are just, but they're huge swings. And then I think the key thing off of that, and much like other sports like basketball, what are the points off of those, and how do what does that look like? So, rarely do you get an opportunity to, if you turn it over in your own territory, and if you're going in the low red zone there, like those are big mistakes, because those ultimately either turn to points or prevent you from getting points. And we've had a few of those this year. So we're hard at work at that to try to make sure we limit them, and again try to do the best job we can on defense to try to create them.
We've had an ongoing conversation, it feels about emotional responses to games. Do you feel an added sense of hunger from a team coming off of a loss? Especially BG in these first couple early practices of the week.
Again, it's always about the response to me. It's always about the lessons that can be learned. And, I learned that lesson. Well, you've learned a lot of lessons in your life. It doesn't mean those situations aren't going to come up again in your life. That's why this is the greatest game there is, because this is a team. And when I make a mistake, other people are affected by it. When a player makes a mistake, other teammates are affected by it. This is not an individual sport. It's a team sport. So it parallels life that way. It parallels what you have in your own house. It parallels what family is. Like that is all – it all ties together. So, yeah, we've had a great response to an adverse situation early on in the season, but that has nothing to do with this week. We didn't learn a lesson, put it away, and say, hey, we're never going to make that mistake again. So what it will require is a great week of practice, and, we can't lose sight of that.
On tape, I guess, what stands
Yeah, I think they're getting great balance from their quarterback and their run game. They've really improved their roster from a transfer standpoint of things. The quarterback transferring in has helped them. Running backs that transfer in that's helped them. Really good receiver that's transferred in that's helped. Two good receivers that transferred in that have helped them. So they're getting production on offense, and it's balanced. It's solid in the run. It's solid in the pass. And they're able to keep the other teams on their heels. They've had a lot of plays, which leads me to believe that they're dictating the pace of the game and being able to play with some tempo that way to try to keep your defense on its heels. Always sound in the kicking game. They always have a game-changing play throughout the course of a football game that way in their wins. And like I said, I think they've been really solid on defense, and creating turnovers have been a big thing.
Saturday, I assume most people probably think it'd be a close game, two evenly matched teams. How big of a weapon is Kunan in a game like that?
Dylan's done a great job. He's come in here, and unfortunately we lost Luke, and Luke's an all-conference player, and you're not counting on. Not too many places are counting on their backup kicker to step up and do what this kid has been able to do. So far from a finished product. Really happy, and he's been a bright spot for us. And he's got a lot of confidence right now. We've got to keep him in that lane and keep him going that way. So keep him rolling.